Hello guys, my name is Muhammad Arif bin Abu from UiTM student. Today I will explain to you about performance appraisal. The first thing first, you must know what is the definition of performance appraisal. According to the Snell and Burrender 2007, performance appraisal is a formal system of periodic reviews and evaluation of an individual's or team's job performance. According to the Gary Dessler 2005, performance appraisal is evaluating an employee current or past performance relative to his or her performance standard. There are two performance appraisal programs, which are performance appraisal, and the second one is the performance management. For the performance appraisal, it is a process typically performed annually by a supervisor for a subordinate, which is designed to help the employees understand their roles, objective, expectation, and performance success. But for the performance management, it is the process of creating work environment in which people can perform to the best of their abilities. Performance appraisal fail. Do you know why? Because there are four reasons why appraisal program fail. The first reason is the lack of top management information and support. Supposedly, the top management must give the accurate information to the supervisor on how to evaluate their employees perfectly without any bias. And at the same time, top management must give the support to the supervisor. What support? For example, top management send the supervisor to the training to learn on how to evaluate the employees perfectly according to the performance standard and, of course, without bias. The performance standard. It can be happen because people not always perfect. Even the supervisor had been sent to the training to learn how to do the performance appraisal. Sometimes the supervisor cannot catch up all the information had been given during the training. So the supervisor still don't understand how to evaluate the employees according to the performance that had been given. And after the training done, the supervisor doesn't know how to do, and the supervisor can only ask a friend, can only ask the senior workers on how to do performance appraisal. Yes, this is the reason. Is rata bias. Bias can be categorized into two, which are nepotism and cronyism. What is that word? Nepotism is the person give the benefit to the family members, while cronyism is the person give the benefit to the friends. So, bias can happen if there are someone that have the relationship with the supervisor at the same workplace. For example, okay, for example, the family members or the cousin of the supervisor work the same place with the supervisor. So during the performance appraisal, of course, the supervisor will evaluate her or his cousin perfectly without any mistake. So bias happen here. Is too many forms to complete. Yes, of course. Yes, there are too many forms to complete to the supervisor during the performance appraisal. So it will cause the supervisor lazy. If lazy happen, and of course performance appraisal will fail.
My name is Amirul Shahmi bin Azhari. Today I want to talk about the performance appraisal. Okay, I want to talk about the company that practice using the method of 360-degree performance appraisal system integrity safeguard. Okay, 360-degree feedback is a technique which is systematic collection of performance data on an individual group derived from a number of stakeholders like immediate supervisors, team member, customer, peers, and staff. Firstly, the PepsiCo is the company that practice the 360-degree performance appraisal system integrity safeguard. Okay, I want to introduce the company. The PepsiCo is the world largest, second largest food and beverage business and the global snack leaders. That practice using the methods of 360-degree performance appraisal system integrity safeguard. Okay, ETS is a long-term partner with PepsiCo, having been appointed in 2008 to design and implement a bespoke 360-degree feedback program for its global leadership population. Okay, PepsiCo run 4 programs simultaneously. That is 360 process, an upward feedback process, an employee survey, and a Hogan personality instrument. Okay, next I want to talk about the performance appraisal method. It have 3 actually method in the performance appraisal. That is, firstly, I want to talk about the trade method of the performance appraisal. Okay, in the performance appraisal method, trade method in which manager looks at an employee's specific trait in relation to the job, such as friendliness to the customer. Okay, Malcolm is using this method. Malcolm use the trade method. Use a trait method as a standard. A trait is a characteristic that an individual possesses. Trait include things such as appearance, attitude, initiative, work ethics, leadership ability, a sense of ethics, loyalty, adaptability, and judgment. Okay, for example, I take the graphic rating scale for using in this trait method. Is perhaps the most popular choice for performance evaluation. That is a graphic rating scale. This type of evaluation lists traits required for the job and asks the sources to rate the individual on each attribute. The ratings can include a scale of 1 to 10. For example, excellence, average, or poor, or meets requirement, exceed, or doesn't meet requirement at all. Okay, next I want to tell about the behavioral method. That is a second method in the performance appraisal method. Okay, behavioral method is can also be used as a criteria in performance appraisal. Why traits are characteristic? Behavior are action. It look at individual action within a specific job. Okay, of course, to be effective, the behavior must be related to the performance being appraised. Okay, Malcolm is using this method too. This behavior that demonstrate cooperation and team building when developing team appraisal. Sales people may be assessed on their persistency in making cold calls to doctors to set up appointments. Okay, for the example, critical incident appraisal can be effective at providing specific example of behavior. The manager records examples of the employee's effective and ineffective behavior during the time period between evaluation, which is in the behavior category. Okay, last the method is a result method. Okay, the result method means a focus on employee accomplishment, such as whether or not employees met a quota. Okay, for example, I take the MBO, that is management by objectives. This is using in this method. MBO is a concept developed by Peter Drucker in his 1954 book, The Practice of Management, Drucker 2006. This method is result oriented and similar to the word standard approach with a few differences. First, the manager and employee sit down together and develop objective for the time period. Then when it is time for the performance evaluation, the manager and employee sit down to review the goals that were set and determine whether they were met. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you. Okay.
Today, I would like to discuss about job protection right. There are many job protection right in Malaysia, but I will discuss only 4. The first one is annual leave. If you are planning on going for a trip, first check if you have enough annual leave to apply, for instance of assuming that it's limitless so long as you turn up for work more than 3 quarters of the year. Unless stated in the contract in Section 60E of the Industrial Relations Act allow you to the right to a minimum of 8 days for annual leave for service under 2 years in a company, 12 years, 12 days of the annual leave for service of 2 to 5 years in a company, and 8th job protection right is working hours and overtime. The nation of 9 to 5 clearly define the numbers of hours a typical organization requires you to work. If you working more than 9 hours shift daily, it's called overtime. The employer should pay overtime for those who have been staying and after hours. According to the Section 60A and 3 of the Industrial Relations Act, clearly state that employees shall abide the contract set by the employer so long as they are not required to work more than 9 hours a day or 48 hours a week. Any employer has leave. Many employers do not stress on how many medical certificate, commonly known as MC, you are eligible for throughout the year when briefing you on your contract. Plus, it really does not help the company to have one employee who is nearly always sick. So, in the Section 60F of the Industrial Relations Act, for a service of less than 2 years, you are allowed of 14 days of MC. 18 days for those between 2 to 5 years of service, and 22 days in a calendar for those in service for more than 5 years. But before you run on today I would like to discuss about the definition of employee right, privacy right, and job privacy in Malaysia. First, employee right can be defined as the guarantee of fair treatment that employees expect in protection of their employment status. This expectation become right when they are granted to employees by the court, legislature, or employer. The right of privacy can be regarded as a matter of personal freedom from Article of Federal Constitution and the right of discrimination. The Constitution provides for equal protection under the law and prohibits discrimination against the citizen based on the race, gender, religion, reason, or place of birth. The Constitution covered this prohibition, however, by establishing its right to safe in workplace. Employers have legal responsibility to ensure a safe and healthy workplace. As an employee, you have right and responsibility for your own well-being and colleges. Your right as an employee to work in a safe and healthy environment are given to you by law and generally cannot be changed or removed by employers. The most important of these rights are to tell your employer about any health and safety concern you have. Stop work and leave your work area without being disciplined if you have reasonable concern about your safety. The Occupational Safety and Health Act is on Act which provide the legislative framework to secure the safety, health and welfare among all Malaysian workforce and to protect others against hazard to say privacy right is right of freedom of association and the right of collective bargaining under Section 7. The law provides for limited freedom of association and for some categories to form and join trade union, subject to a variety of legal and practical restrictions. The law prohibits employers from interfering with union activities, including union formation, prohibit employers from seeking retribution for legal union activities, and require of workers fire. One is breach of contract. Because your employment agreement in black and white, if your employer fails to abide by the law, it is your right to terminate your contract of service without notice according to the Section 12 of the Industrial Relations Act. If you breach the contract, you can be dismissed immediately too. So, read up on your employment.
The person who is responsible for preventing disciplinary problem such as attendance problem, dishonesty, failure to complete work assignments, and smoking in unauthorized called as a disciplinary model. A disciplinary action taken against an employee must be for justifiable reasons, such in policies and procedures, assist those responsible for taking disciplinary action, and help ensure that employees will receive fair and constructive treatment. It also helps prevent disciplinary action from being void. This model also shows the logical sequence to ensure impossible decision. Consider as a constructive means of getting employees to conform to acceptable standard of performance. Many organizations such as Intel as training platform that correct employees' ethical part, which is definition of discipline. Discipline has three meanings. First, treatment that punishes. Second, orderly behavior in an organizational setting. And third is training that molds and strengthens desirable conduct or corrects undesirable conduct and develops self-control. Discipline is a synonym with force where they equate the term with the punishment as a progressive discipline. The application of corrective measures by increasing decrease is designed to motivate an employee to correct his or her misconduct voluntarily. There are three important things occur when progressive discipline is applied. First, employee always know where they stand regarding offences. Second, employee know what improvement is expected of them. And disciplinary interview necessary because the supervisor perceptions of the employee's behavior may not be entirely accurate. The interview should concentrate on how the offence violated the performance and behavior standard of the job. Most important, the employees must be given a full opportunity to explain his or her side of the issues so that any deficiency for which as just cause discharge. It is when employees fail to conform to organizational rules and regulations. The final disciplinary actions in many cases is discharge. This is because discharge has such serious consequences for all as a due process. The right of employees to tell his or her side of the story regarding the alleged infraction of the organizational rules. Normally, due process is provided employees through the employer's appeal procedure. This due process serves to ensure that a full and fair investigation of employees' misconduct occurs. However, the employer have to follow certain principles in their interpretation of due process. The first one is the right to present a defense. Second is